I'm replacing the front passenger side CV axle on a 2000. You're going to need some all-purpose grease on a 2000 f150, the four-wheel, the 4x4. This is a 4.6, the 4x4. I took the sticker off. So you're going to need to remove this axle nut, and then you can see there's a cap on there with your cotter pin. So you're gonna need to take this off and remove that, and then there's the axle goes into there. They say, so they're coming at the front, they say that you need to remove the spindle here, but in the whole thing, but you don't have to do that. All you need to do is what you see this right here. This is your vertical sway bar link. There's a nut on top and a nut on the bottom. So you're gonna need to remove this sway bar link, and then you're gonna slide your axle here out where you take that out, and you're gonna kind of slide it out towards the front. So if you see my boots all cracked right here, and I got buildup of the grease down there, so yeah, my boots here needs to be replaced. So, and then it's going through the hub, and then it was coming out on the other side where I took that thing off and the axle nut goes. So then coming in here, there's 6 of these bolts, and they're 12 millimeter 12 point. See that? They go around the top, so you're able to get in there and crack. You can crack 3 of them loose, and then you can crack them loose with the tire on the ground. So what I did, I cracked the first 3 loose and loosened them about halfway, and then I raised the truck up, and I so you can raise up the side and then just spin the tire by hand, so when you see these nuts spin around, so you can crack these ones loose here. So I'm cracking them all loose before I take off. Before I take them all the way completely out, I'm gonna crack this loose and make sure this axle nut comes off easily, which I could use an impact, but I'm gonna use a breaker bar, and I'm not sure what size socket that is yet. I can put it here. So here's the axle nuts. But the axle, these have to come undone. So I have a 1/2 inch deep socket you can get on there. So I sprayed these with PB Blaster, and then I used a wire brush and wire brushed around the edges here. So then this is gonna, you need to take out all these bolts, and it's gonna pop out, and then you're gonna remove this, and then with the tire off, and yeah, you're gonna pull it back out. So I'm just cracking loose these 6 bolts first. So let's see here, I'll see if I can crack this one loose. Make sure that that socket's on there so you don't strip it. I don't even like doing this holding the phone, but oh yeah, one-handed. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands. Maybe I'll just leave her clean here. See if I can crack this loose. So I'm on the bottom here, and I'm using my shoulder. Ugh, she cracked. So I didn't have to use the breaker bar. So I'm just getting these all loose, so I know that I can crack them all loose. So then, since I turned it, I should be able to get it on this one. Make sure it's all the way on there, and then crack it loose. So I'm just getting them all loose. Oh, yep. They're gonna be tight all the way out. So I'm just making sure they all start, and then I can spray some more PB Blaster in there. And then this one back in here, I don't know, you probably can't see it, but you know, you should know what I'm talking. Alright, so. Oh, you hear that? That's a crack. Alright. So I'm just getting these started loose. Alright, so I got all 6 of them loose. Like I said, you're gonna have to get to these top ones. You gotta jack the tire up and spin it so you get these back on the bottom, if you can see me. So like I said, you have to remove this cover. That's not the actual nut. So you gotta get this cotter pin out. If you can't get this out with this, you're gonna have to take the tire off, and then to get more room to get this cotter pin out. I'm hoping I don't have to do that. So then I'm gonna use a breaker bar to crack the axle nut loose. So if you have to take the tire off to get in here to get this cover off and then put the tire back on, you might have to do that, but hopefully I don't have to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna need 2 hands here to get oh, come on. Should I be shaking the camera on you? Cool. So I got that cotter pin out. Make sure you get a new one or on that. So then yeah, get this off to expose that nut, and then you could probably spray some PB on there too to help you crack it loose. But I had this hub done like a year ago, so this should come off somewhat easy. You say somewhat, but we'll see. Alright, so I have the 6 bolts going to the axle behind there already cracked loose. So I'm cracking loose this axle nut with a 35 millimeter and a breaker bar. So I'm gonna crack this loose. Yeah, that's the idea. I might need to get an even bigger breaker bar. Alright, so I'm trying to crack this loose here. Got the 35 millimeter. Lefty loosey. That's not wanting to crack loose. That's on there. Whew. It's not wanting to come loose. Alright, so I had to get this breaker bar adapter that I'm going to put on the end to get more leverage. This bigger one here. I get down there. Make sure you're in. Come on. So to crack this axle nut loose was pretty tough. I have a 1/2-inch breaker bar, and then I have this heavier pipe, and then a second pipe to give me leverage to get it to crack loose. That's pretty tough to crack loose. So I'm gonna keep loosening this nut in there with the breaker bar. The tire's on the ground, the jack's not up right now. So I got it cracked loose with the breaker bar there, the axle nut. So what I'm doing is loosening the axle nut with the ratcheting wrench till it comes flush out. So it's still kind of in there, but it's coming now. So yeah, just get the axle nut loose here. Alright, so I got this crack loose, all the way loose. I'm gonna leave it on there, but just make sure I can move it off freely. And then now I'm gonna go back underneath. The tire's still on, and then I'm gonna come take out these 6 bolts that connect the axle to the flange. I already have these cracked loose, but now I'm gonna remove them completely now that I have the axle nut loosened and cracked loose. And then I still need to remove this thing right here, which is the nut there and the nut on top. And then I'm gonna need to break it free. Yeah, see, yeah, this is due. Alright, so I'm removing this. I have my socket on there. I have a deep socket because there's a little bolt or whatever sticking up over the nut that you got to get over, coming through it. And then down here, this is a 16. And then on the top, I have a 15, but this part's been replaced, so your nuts might be different. So, yeah, put that on there. Okay, so this is what I unscrewed from the top of the vertical steering knuckle. And then you can see you still can't pull it out because it's going to have to come out of there. So, oh, see, there goes the bolt. See this? And then it pulls through down from the bottom. And then, yeah, then pull this. This goes in between. And then you pull that out. So this is towards the bottom. And that's towards the bottom. And then, just so I know how to put it back, this goes in through the bottom. And then this goes on top. So I was able to pop this out without even jacking the wheel off the ground. And it came out. So that's the spot where I'm going to slide the axle out then. So now I need to finish cracking these all loose, which is what I'm going to do here. Alright, so I already have these cracked loose. And I'm going to remove them completely now. I already have the axle nut completely loosened, and I have the vertical sway bar out, so you can get at these bottom 3 and then taking it all the way out, boom boom boom, and then make sure the back of this doesn't tap out, you know what I mean, since it's a deep socket, but you should have room. So I got one out. These are them stupid 12 point that you gotta, I had to get a special 12 point deep socket, but like I said, you can get to these 3 at the bottom if that wheel stopped in the right spot, but it's pretty easy to just spin it to get to the other ones. You just gotta jack it up. But so far with my tires, I haven't even hit, well, I had to jack it up once just to spin the wheel like half a turn to rotate these bolts. But yeah, just keep cranking these out here. It should get to hand tight. So there's the second one, and then yeah, see, so you can get to these 3 pretty easily here. And like I said, I sprayed them with PB Blaster for like a week before even doing this, because I've been there. And they're still a little tough getting out, but alright, I'm just gonna keep filming right now and talking you through this because I don't want to have to reach to stop the camera, but just want to show getting these out. You got room with the deep socket, 1/2-inch drive, 12 millimeter. Alright, so you see how I got them 3 out. I can reach this top one here. So this is the 4th one. There's 6 of them total. You don't want to strip these though. Alright, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm alright. I'm taking this 4th one out. Just because I can get to it. Maybe I'll see if I can get to all of them without, well, I'm just going to show you. Just because cracking that top one loose up there would probably be pretty tough because I already have it cracked loose. Alright, so I got it turned. So this bolt's at the bottom. Alright, they're all out. And I'm gonna have to separate it from the flange still, and then pull it out, then pull it out through, come at it from this way. Alright, let's see how that goes. Alright, so I have everything disconnected, them 6 bolts, the steering link, the axle nuts loose, and now I'm going to remove the lug nuts. And that should be pretty easy. Alright, I removed all the lug nuts, and then I'm going to free the axle spindle from the bearing. So I'm going to put this on here and hit it with a hammer to free it up. Alright, so I took the wheel off, and then I hit this, so then you can see this is moving loose and free. So now I need to separate the axle from the flange. Alright, so there's the axle. It's all disconnected. But now I need to remove it from the flange. Alright, so you can take this block and hit it with a hammer and free it from the flange. Get her loose like that. And then it's gonna come sliding out of there. And then I'm gonna take my block and then just make sure you have this nut out because you're gonna be. Alright, so taking this nut off, make sure push that out as much as you can to get that thing freed. So yeah, I'm gonna try and just hit this through as far as I can. Maybe I'll leave this camera. See if I can show that here. Alright. Punch this through. Alright, so I got that pretty loose, and then there it is. So pulled it over that way, and I'm gonna try and push it down then out there through there. I just got to make sure I get this spindle all the way out. Oh, there's... Alright. See if I can pull this bitch out with one hand filming. Oh, she's still... axle there, or in the bearing. Hard to do with one hand. Alright, that's out pretty far. I want to get this spindle all the way out here. Where are we at? See that spindle there coming through? And boom, one-handed removal. Boom. There she be. There she be. And then I'm gonna compare it to the new one, because one of the dudes online said they got a new one and it was like an inch off and it fucked up their shit. So alright, that came out thanks to that guy who said to remove the sway bar link. I'll post a link to his blog post. But yeah, so make sure your new one's the exact same.